Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica Consumer Talks. And this morning we have with us the Minister of State in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Honorable Norman Dunn. Good morning, Minister. We also have with us the Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Commission / Fair Trading Commission merger, Mr. Donovan White. Morning, Chairman. Morning. Along with Mr. David Miller, Executive Director of the Fair Trading Commission. Mr. Miller, morning. And Mrs. Dulcie Allen, the Chief Executive Officer of the Consumer Affairs Commission. And as I indicated, this morning we will be doing Consumer Talk as we seek to update you on various initiatives and the work of these two organizations in securing the best for our consumers here in Jamaica. We will also be taking the opportunity, the Chairman will, to update you on the merger of the Consumer Affairs Commission and the Fair Trading Commission, the implications of that, the status of that, and how that will help to improve the environment for consumer protection going forward. So at this time, I'm going to call on Chairman, Mr. Donovan White, to provide us with that update. Chairman.
Thank you, Pierce. Good morning, everyone. Also good morning, Minister. Good to see you. David and Dulcie. That steers both these organizations every day. They do a fantastic job, so let me just state that up front. Today I'll provide a quick update really as to where we are with the merger of both the Consumer Affairs Commission and the Fair Trading Commission. As you are aware, by way of Cabinet decision on June 4th, 2018, the CAC and the FTC were identified for merger and for creation of a single public body to execute the functions of the Consumer Protection and Fair Competition Acts. The Transformation Implementation Unit, the TIU, conducted a review of both organizations and forwarded their findings and recommendations in June of 2020. As it relates to where we are today, the board was selected in May 2021, and the subcommittees have been formed, including a board merger transition committee. And I may just take a moment here to acknowledge and to first of all thank all the members, the appointed members of the board, for your commitment to service of both the CAC and the FTC. I'll also take a moment to make special mention of the members who have been appointed by the board to form the merger transition committee. Those persons are Michelle Parkins, Mr. Kwame Gordon, who will chair that committee on behalf of the board, Mr. Vernon Darby, Ms. Joyce Young, ODJP, Ms. Dina Ashbowl, O'Neill Grant, Marina Ramspoon, Colin Virgo, and Mr. Robert Colley. Those are the members of the board who have been asked to serve as the Special Merger Transition Committee. As I said, that committee will be chaired by Mr. Kwame Gordon. That team has already commenced working. They are deep in the process. There are a number of...
Recording in progress.
There are a number of matters to be handled expeditiously as we are tasked with bringing this merger forward in a productive but also a expeditious way that will allow for the seamless pairing of these two public bodies into one. And so the committee is responsible for making those recommendations to the board about the overall process and procedures of the various aspects of a end state organization. Both agencies, I will tell you, one of the decisions that has already been agreed on is that both agencies will soon be relocated to a single location at 17 to 19 Connolly Avenue, and that's in the Kingston 4 area of Morosco Road. Work has already begun and should be completed by the last quarter of this year to enable the teams to coexist in a single location, which obviously will help and hasten the process of merging the two entities. So we're seized with the importance of making this this merger happen, but also making it happen in a very seamless way, and a very as painless as possible way. And so we are going to continue to work in that vein. So that's the update from me as it relates to the merger. There will be many more questions, I'm sure, on the issue that we'll take later on in the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. And as you said, questions will no likely come at the end of the speeches. And I could just indicate now that persons can use the raise hand function in Zoom to ask your questions. And let me especially welcome the media who will have joined us online, other persons who will have also joined online from this ministry and the agencies that are here with us, and more broadly. So welcome to everyone, and let me also recognize our Chief Technical Director, Michelle Parkins, who will have joined online as well. So as we progress with the agenda this morning, I am going to call on Mr. David Miller, the Executive Director of the Fair Trading Commission, to address us. The FTC's role is to protect consumers and the competitive process by examining the behavior of market participants and the regulatory structure environment in which businesses operate. And of course, they conduct investigations, they conduct studies, and they make recommendations with respect to policy and legislation in this area of protection. And with that short introduction, I'm going to ask Mr. Mr. David Miller to now make his presentation. Mr. Miller, sorry.
Thank you very much, P.S. Good morning, Minister. Good morning, Chairman and Mrs. Allen. The Fair Trading Commission was established several years ago, and it is important to note that it has jurisdiction over all markets in Jamaica. But I'll this morning highlight the work of the FTC in one particular market, the telecommunication sector, which is a vibrant sector, which is critical to the economy's functioning, and which is a sector that we always keep a close eye on. And the area that I will highlight is our work with the telecoms providers recently, in particular in their promotional packages and plans, specifically for mobile customers, which are significant to telecom service providers' income and, of course, the consumers' needs. And the focus this morning is on issues that were brought about by the unlimited promotions, which started in 2019. And it is important to note as well that material information, to bring more material information into focus and to highlight the importance of information to consumers in their decision-making is critical to the competition process. At the same time, the role of the service providers in providing this information, whether it be in telecoms or in banking, insurance, consumer products, or groceries, giving material information to consumers and ensuring that firms provide this information gives us a more seamless competitive process. Now, the situation on hand, the example on hand with unlimited packages brought into focus what the telecommunications providers refer to as their fair usage policy. And many consumers were unaware of what this really was until we stepped in and engaged the telecoms providers and encouraged them to provide more detailed information to consumers on what it is that the fair usage policy means. It was an engaged process over a period of time to encourage them to provide greater information. And greater information falls under the Fair Competition Act, which the Fair Trading Commission enforces under a section that's called misleading representation, to give full material information about products and services being offered. And we made several recommendations to the telecoms providers which were accepted and done to educate consumers regarding the meaning and applicability of the fair usage policy by ensuring that it was prominently disclosed in their advertisements. And advertisements come through the social media right now, which is booming, text messages, and through their website. To retrain their customer care representatives to make them understand the fair usage policy more and to disseminate that information about it more clearly to consumers. This would enable consumers to understand that the plans are qualified and consequently the implications of the qualifications on their usage. The retraining exercise facilitated the provision of clear and uniform information to consumers regarding mobile plans, not just the unlimited plans, but to all plans this was made applicable to. The telecoms providers made certain adjustments to their behavior. They added more data allocation to the unlimited plan data offerings. They revised their communication points, for example, the My Digital app and the Flow app, the social media touch points, their website, the use of text messages to consumers, which are used to trigger certain limits as they go along. Other modifications, the text notification, as I said, to clarify the exact plan that is expired. Sometimes a consumer would have more than one plan on their mobile, and one may expire at one point, and not both of them, but they're not clear on which one is expired. So we're provided with more information on the specific plan that is expired. And one of the things that we encouraged the players to do, which they did, was to make the fair usage policy more easily accessible on their website. I remember when we started, we had to go through 7 or 8 clicks to reach to the fair usage policy. And we got that reduced down to no more than 3 clicks, so that it will be more easily accessible to consumers on their websites and in their social media pronouncements. Disclosure is critical, and demonstrating the limitations of each plan, informing the consumers of limitations at the earliest possible time so that they can make informed decisions. In collaboration with the Office of Utilities Regulation, the Fair Trading Commission worked with that body to have the OUR issue a directive to the telecoms players that makes it an obligation on their part to do certain things, to provide this accurate information which I am speaking about regarding all products and services, to provide a clear description of each service included in the bundle, the details of any cap that may apply to each service in the bundle, such as inclusive minutes, SMS, and data limits. Other things in the directive including notification alerts, which should be sent in relation to data, voice, and SMS usages. And, of course, the opt-in feature, where consumers are required to opt in into a particular service, and not just because they click on it, meaning that they accept it, but they have to specifically state that they're opting in. Adequate disclosure to consumers, the relevant limitations surrounding their unlimited plans, critical to information. And that's what the Fair Trading Commission is about, not only in the telecom sector, but in all sectors, encouraging market participants to inform the consumers so that they can make informed decisions. And our legislation, the Fair Competition Act, underscores these provisions that allow us to prosecute breaches of the Act. Thank you very much, PS.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. That is an excellent example of consumer protection in action and joined-up government, and of the importance of this press briefing, this quarterly press briefing as well, because where consumers might have missed the information as it has come out over a period of time, that information is now being highlighted again here by you, and there's an opportunity again for persons to know of what is happening, of the provisions that are being put in place, and for the media who are joining us for this press conference to take the opportunity to highlight some of this information for our consumers as well. So very important. Thank you so much. And of course, this is an area, telecoms, that touches almost every Jamaican, so extremely important. Thank you. The Consumer Affairs Commission was established to inform, educate, and empower consumers to protect themselves. And the Consumer Affairs Commission does that on an ongoing basis. I know that Mrs. Dulce Allen is passionate about that work that she does. The constant surveillance in the market and the ongoing provision of information so that consumers can be informed and able to make the best choices for their limited budget. Mrs. Allen is going to provide an update on the activities of the CAC over the last quarter. Mrs. Allen.
Thank you very much, our Chairperson, Mrs. Sancia Bennett-Templar, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, the Honorable Dr. Norman Dunn, Minister of State in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Ms. Michelle Parkins, the Chief Technical Director in the Portfolio Ministry, other members of the ministry, senior members in particular, Mr. Donovan White, the Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Commission and the Fair Trading, and other commissioners and directors who are online just now, Mr. David Miller, Executive Director of the Fair Trading Commission, colleagues of the Consumer Affairs Commission and the Fair Trading Commission, other distinguished guests, the media, good morning. I'd first like to take this opportunity to thank, in a very special way, our Portfolio Ministry for their guidance and their support, both financial and technical and otherwise, of the Consumer Affairs Commission over the years. So thank you, ministers and PS and all the other persons who we interact with from time to time at the Consumer Affairs Commission. I want to thank our board, so ably chaired by our chairman, Donovan White, for the guidance and the encouragement, and sometimes the drawing up. Yes, that's their role. So I want to thank you so much for being there and it's as if we're a partner here at the Consumer Affairs Commission. I want to thank also our sister agencies, those who collaborate with us and those who partner with us to ensure that we get the work of protecting consumers, get it out there and to ensure that we are protecting consumers. Because from time to time, the funds are low, so we have to do the join-up government, as the PA spoke about just now. So I want to thank you all, those sister agencies. I want to thank the media, because I know from time to time you help us so much in disseminating information to our consumers that is so relevant and so helpful to them. From time to time you engage us or we engage you. So we want to thank you so much, and we're hoping that today that you will go and spread the good news of what we are doing for consumers. I will also want to thank the consuming public. From time to time they call us for recommendations, they call us for, sometimes criticisms, sometimes recommendations, suggestions. And this whole package has really helped us in our service delivery. So consuming public, we want to thank you so much for being there, because your interest is our business. And so we take care of you, and so we're happy for the feedback when you give it from time to time. And I really want to thank the team at the Consumer Affairs Commission, the hard-working, dedicated team. We work under trying circumstances and very often beyond the call of duty, and I really want to express appreciation to the team that we have. This morning, we are going to be looking at the role and function of the Consumer Affairs Commission. The PS would have already pointed out what our main or core function is, It's really to protect you, to provide information, to educate you so you can make informed decisions. And goes beyond that. It also, we try to facilitate an ethical relationship between the providers and the consumers. And there are many times when we have disputes occurring. And if it is that you go to the vendor and you're not getting the requisite redress, then we ask that you contact us at the Consumer Affairs Commission, and we're able to assist you. So based on our core mandate, which has been so beautifully put out in the Consumer Protection Act, and of course the mandate from our minister, we have a three-pronged approach. We engage in market research, we provide complaint resolution services, and we also run a very vibrant consumer education program. Well, it was very vibrant prior to COVID. It's a little bit on the downside now since COVID, because we all have to adhere to the protocols in terms of public gathering, because a lot of our work would normally be face-to-face with consumers and having discussions, interactions, and so on. So that's basically our core function. That's how we operate. For the first quarter, ending June 30, we handled 603 complaints, and we were able to have 53% thereabout of those complaints resolved. We had requests for advice, 137, and the requests not only come from the consumers themselves, but also from vendors, from the providers. From time to time, they call us to find out what exactly is the right of the consumer in this particular situation. So we have that type of interaction also with the providers. And through handling these complaints, we were able to secure, on behalf of aggrieved consumers for the first quarter, $4.8 million in terms of compensation. We have noticed the continuous trend where the top category of complaints is electrical equipment and appliances, which accounts for 27% of the complaints that we handled. Utilities account for 20%, or almost 21%, and other services 11%. As it relates to the compensation and the refunds, electrical equipment and appliances, that accounts for 36.9% of what we have collected. That's $1.78 million. Furniture, $1.27 million. That's 26% of the compensation figure. Other services, $605,000. Computer and computer parts, just a little over $321,000, and utilities, $236,000. For the financial year last year, we all know we had a very challenging year last year, and it continues into this year in terms of COVID. But we were able to have a resolution rate of 80.11% as it relates to our complaints. Over the years, we have had a range of 80 to up to 92% resolution in any given financial year. So we have a real great team, and I really want to stop again and just to acknowledge the hardworking team at the Consumer Affairs Commission. So that's for last year. And we also handled 1,851 complaints, and were able to resolve 1,454. In terms of compensation, $21.85 million, and this is in addition to the $24.5 million that we would have been able to secure on behalf of the net gratia payment on behalf of those persons who were affected by the bad gas scenario a few years ago. But each year we have in excess, in terms of compensation, in excess of $20 million on behalf of aggrieved consumers. And I really want the consumers to understand that we are here working for you. We are working for you. We may not get it right every time, but certainly your insurance, as I said before, is our business. It is important for us to note also that with the proliferation of microcredit lenders in our space now, they serve a very vital role, because many persons probably are a little intimidated to go to the commercial banks, or whatever the situation is, the desires or the demands for collaterals and so on. It finds a little easier to go to a microcredit lender. So we have a lot of those persons on now, but there is the act that was passed, the Mecca Credit Act, in January of this year, and the Consumer Affairs Commission has been named as the agency that will deal with any complaint coming from that sector. So if you're having challenges, if you have borrowed, if you have gone into arrangements with persons in the Mecca Credit area or sector, and you're having challenges, come to the Consumer Affairs Commission. We can try to assist you in whatever way possible. Surveys. We know we operate in a competitive environment, and as Mr. Miller would have pointed out earlier, provision of information is key to the competitive process. And if persons are not giving information, then it makes it that much more difficult. So we do our surveys on a regular basis just to ensure that persons have information so they can make informed decisions. And especially since last year into this year, we have intensified our research activities, our market surveillance. We would have expanded. We are doing more surveys in areas, for example, sanitation products, for the test at different laboratories from COVID-19 tests and so on. So we have broadened and we have also increased. And if you would have looked in your papers today, in the newspaper, you would have seen that there is a publication there on the grocery prices that we would have looked at in the past couple of weeks. So we provide this information for you. And last year we had over 45% increase in our surveys that we do, just to accommodate and to facilitate, to provide information for you. And we ask that you go on our website and look at the information. We will not be able all the time to publish them in the newspapers, but certainly they are on our website and all our social media platforms. You can go and visit. So as I said before, you will see in today's paper the grocery and agricultural items that we would have surveyed. And on Friday, July 23, you'll also see the laboratory test prices. Sanitation and hygiene also on July 23, but that is going to be on our website. And just to let you know that the annual textbook survey is still on, even though we know that most persons would have been going to school via online, but we still need textbooks, we still use books. So we are going to be doing our surveys just to see what is happening in terms of the prices and the availability, so we can inform you early so you can make your decisions as you go shopping for back to school. We are hoping that come September, we will be back to school, most of us, who, face to face, and we're hoping and praying for that to happen. Because of what has been happening now in terms of the COVID, it has really pushed us further, propelled us more even into the whole digital platform. So currently, the CAC operates 90% digitally. Most of our operations are done using technology. And we continue. So while we were doing a little in terms of face-to-face interaction with consumers, we are now doing bi-monthly CAC live programs. And you can go on our Facebook, and from time to time we send invitations out. So keep abreast of what we are doing. Visit our website. We have information there for you. And we look at issues that affect you as consumers. We're also open for suggestions. If you have suggestions, areas in which you want us to deal with, then certainly give us a call at the Consumer Affairs Commission. But we look at our rights and also our responsibilities. Many times as consumers, we talk about our rights, but there's also the area of our responsibility. We need to be assertive, we need to be vigilant, we need to avail ourselves of information that is out there. And we also need to do our due diligence, our research before we go shopping and those things. And I want to also emphasize the use of our app, CAC app, Consumer Affairs Jamaica. It is filled with information for you that can help you. It gives you details of prices of petroleum products, for example, grocery products, and all the surveys that we do. You'll find the information there. And it also gives comparisons. It tells you where you are now and where is the nearest location that you can go and shop and get the best price. So it's important that you visit our website. And we also have a price inquiry tool where you can put together a package of products that you would want, and depending on where you are, you plug the information in, and it tells you, for example, if I'm in Ligoni, it tells me that I must go to X supermarket or Y supermarket because these have the best prices for this package that we have put together. So we have been doing a lot of work in terms of ensuring that we can provide information for you. We are aware that in terms of the contractual relationship with vendors. Most times, the consumers are the weak of the two contracting parties. So we are here to protect you and to empower you so that you will be able to negotiate well and to navigate and chart your way through your different commercial activities. Before I close, I must let you know that just to reintroduce to you, our little booklet that we have here at the Consumer Affairs Commission is Eating Right When Money Tight. And we all know that money is tight now. I mean, it's no secret. But you need to eat right nonetheless. So we have put together some information for you that is very, very vital in terms of nutritional information, what you can do, how you can survive on a very small budget. We have some recipes in there, yes, recipes that will help you to operate and to cook nutritious meals that are still attractive and that you don't have to spend a lot of money on. So I encourage you to visit the website. It's there, and it will help you as you navigate through these very challenging times as consumers. We remind you also just to ensure you have your budget. Many of us do impulse buying, and sometimes we find ourselves in a lot of challenges. Make sure that you do your budgeting. And I've said before, do your research. We're also reminding you that when you go to buy items, especially high-value items, make sure that you ask for the warranty and make sure you understand what exactly are the conditions of this warranty, and make sure you get it in writing. You can't afford to lose anything now. We have to be sure that we get value for money. And there are lots of things that we can do. Ask about your return policy when you go shopping. What if this doesn't work when I go home? What if it doesn't fit? What will you do? How can I take it back? Will you give me a refund? Will you give me an exchange? Or will you repair? Whatever it is, you need to find the information out. And as we shop around in these challenging times, many of us are very conscious of brands, and we encourage you to shop, look around. There are some brands that basically, the items are basically the same, but I know many of us are caught up with brand names and so on. But sometimes, depending on what the item is, you can look to see how can I get something that is more affordable to me and still provide me with the same value. So we do a little more research, do a little more work as you shop. Indeed, as I said before, we are in challenging times now, but I'm happy to see that the economy is bouncing back. And so we'll be able to be a little more, well, I'm not sure if I should say relaxed, but certainly the time that we're doing now, certainly, we need to continue to still be very conscious, the COVID-conscious consumer. You need to be aware of what is happening around you and ensure that we get the best value for money. Our aim really is for you to provide a population of very informed, vigilant, assertive consumers. We want you to know your rights as consumers, and we want you to know your responsibilities also. Because at the end of the day, you're protecting your rights, yes, and you're also securing all of us in terms of our future. So I thank you all, and as we continue to serve you, we really want to engage you. We want feedback from you as to what exactly we are doing and how we can do things differently. So in terms of our service delivery, we can ensure that we're meeting the standards as it relates to our consumers. Thank you very much, PS.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Allen. A wealth of information for our consumers, and the passion for consumer rights definitely shone through. As you said, you're working for the consumers. Right. And just to reiterate one comment that you made about the importance of consumers using the information and the tools that are available. So you indicated 603 complaints handled for the period April 1 to June 30. So I may be putting myself in trouble here and the ministry in trouble, but I'm asking the consumers to come forward so that in the next quarter, you could double that or triple that, and then you're going to tell me you need more resources to be able to handle all of the calls and all of the requests for advice that you're getting. But, it's a very important role in terms of providing information to consumers, and we want to have informed consumers looking out for their rights. So thank you very much for that very comprehensive and informative presentation. I'm going to now call on the Minister of State in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Honorable Norman Dunn. Honorable Audley Shaw has sent his apologies, was unable to join us this morning due to a prior commitment, but he is more than ably represented by Minister Dunn. And you see, I don't know if I can use passion twice, but what I can tell you is that Minister Dunn brings energy and passion to his portfolio responsibilities here at the ministry. And as I said, will more than ably represent Minister Shaw this morning. Minister Dunn.
Thank you very much, PS. And the passion that you speak about is a passion that we all have been taking our cue from, which is from our Honorable Minister. Because for persons who know our Honorable Minister, I know that he's very passionate about the task that he's normally given, generally, in whatever he's asked to do. So, Madam Moderator, Permanent Secretary Sansia Bennett Templar, our Chairman, Consumer Affairs Commission and Fair Trading, Donovan White, and other members of the Commission, our Chief Technical Director, Ms. Michelle Parkins, who is online, our Executive Director of Fair Trading Commission, Mr. David Miller, Chief Executive Officer, the Consumer Affairs Commission, Ms. Dulcie Allen, staff of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I must also take the opportunity to say on behalf of our Honourable Minister, Minister Shaw, and the staff of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, welcome to this very important session of Jamaica Consumer Talk. Today I'm pleased to join you for this brief press briefing under the theme Jamaica Consumer Talk. In our ongoing effort to realize the ministry's strategic priorities to enhance consumer protection, our Ministry, Investment and Commerce, our task is simple, one that we join with our agencies, CAC and FTC, to increase market surveillance of competition and our consumer protection measures. During the pandemic and in the face of rising food prices, the FTC and the CAC redoubled their effort to empower consumers through increased surveillance of the marketplace and the aim of providing information that will enable consumers to make better informed choices. This combined effort, which will be further strengthened through the ongoing mergers of the two agencies, seek to pool the resources and to reinvigorate and empower consumers. We are aware that these are extremely challenging times for all of us, and more so our consumers. The COVID pandemic has had an unprecedented effect on the world. Regrettably, many across the world, including Jamaica, has lost lives. And I must take the opportunity to offer on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica the condolences to our own Jamaicans and families who have lost loved ones. Supply chains have been disrupted. The result is significant increase in commodity prices. Oil, shipping, and logistic costs are all on the rise. Jamaica relies heavily on these commodity imports and makes us susceptible to these ongoing changes. Since 1990, Jamaica has operated a free market economy. This means that the supply of goods and services and their prices are determined by market forces, of which the consumer plays an important, if not the most critical role. For the most part, business prices and business price their products and services on the basis of competition and demand and make adjustments accordingly. Our two agencies, the Consumer Affairs Commission and the Fair Trading Commission, in educating and protecting consumers regularly, provides information that consumers can use to empower themselves and to make choices which will influence the market. One such activity is a publication of price data during the CAC's monthly routine market surveillance. Traditionally, this includes assessing price and availability of basic grocery items, petroleum, and agricultural products, as well as hardware, textbook, and banking rates and fees. Since COVID-19, in direct response to the effect of the pandemic, the CAC added surveillance of sanitation and hygiene products and, of course, COVID-19 testing prices. The Consumer Affairs Commission reports that over 45% increase in their surveillance of the marketplace has occurred, and is all aimed at providing the consumer with information that is accurate, reliable, and timely. From this, the consumers can get additional information that they need to help them in identifying where and how they can get the best prices and therefore the most out of their income. Using data collected and analyzed by the CAC on price movements in Jamaica and on the international front, the ministry one measure to convene a meeting with members of the distributive and food trade recently to discuss how we can best partner to mitigate the fallout from the various increases in world prices. The discussions were robust, and additional realities brought to the fore, while recognizing the impact of rising world prices. We discussed with our producers, distributors, and retailers the need to moderate or to hold strain, especially in relation to prices of basic food commodities, so that we may continue to weather the storm together. We have also requested their inputs on measures that they think could help in these challenging times. The Fair Trading Commission's response to the Minister's charge for enhanced consumer protection was deployed through enforcement of the competitive rules as set out in the Fair Trading and Competition Act. When businesses compete, consumers should benefit from lower prices, higher quality goods and services, and improved products. Conversely, when businesses fail to compete, for example, by agreeing to fixed prices or to divide markets, consumers suffer, as well as the economy. In recent times, the FTC has examined the fast-growing market for online promotional products. Noteworthy, of special mention is the FTC's intervention in telecommunication markets with respect to the offering of unlimited calls and data. The intervention resulted in companies providing much more information to allow the consumer to make informed choices and consequently more cautious in spending on those plans. Both telecommunication companies now provide much more information on their fair usage policies, and the information about offerings are more clearly stated. As a result of the directives issued by the OUR that telecoms company must provide material information on data and calls and alerts via text messages. The FTC has also been particularly active in the review of mergers that could harm consumers, as well as the prevention of agreements that block or makes it more difficult for the entry of new players. Following recent investigations into the market of cooking gas, the Fair Trading Commission made several recommendations to the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology to provide the regulatory framework for these products. As the number of players have been increasing across the islands, the recommendations will ensure and result in greater choices for the consumer, improve adherence to safety requirements, improve environmentally friendly practices, as well as an increased oversight in the market. Let me take the opportunity to commend the Consumer Affairs Commission and the Fair Trading Commissions on their ongoing work to continue to safeguard the rights of the consumer and to enforce consumers' protection. Ladies and gentlemen, I am reiterating the government and this ministry's commitment to continued education of our consumers and the enforcement of consumers' protection measures. We will continue to develop various programs and tools to enhance the consumer's protection and empower our consumer with valuable information to maximize their purchasing power. The ministry will continue to direct our efforts in ongoing dialogue with members of the trade to seek to protect the most vulnerable amongst us and to implement additional strategies or policies to safeguard the welfare of our consumers. We also ask consumers to be vigilant to ensuring that you get the best value and quality for your money by making use of the information available from the CAC, and I would encourage you to download their app and to visit that site in particular, and whereby, by way of publications of prices regularly done by the commissions through the online price comparison application. By comparing prices and insisting that shoppings and shops, consumers, visits to pharmacies, supermarkets, and other retailers, that they clearly show their prices for their products on display so that consumers will be able to get the most out of their limited resources. I would like to add that for most times persons might not see the importance on a day-to-day basis of both the Consumer Affairs Commission and the FTC, but these are the invisible hands behind the scene, ensuring that markets are competitive and that consumers are in fact protected. Our duty is to ensure that the most vulnerable amongst us are given adequate information, that they make choices that is in their best interest. I'd like to again commend the CAC and the FTC for the remarkable work that you have been doing to protect our consumers and to ensure that the marketplace is competitive and that the products that we have are safe and affordable for consumers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Dunn. That very well encapsulates the work of the organizations and much of the information that would have been provided here this morning, and again underscores the importance of consumer responsibility to ensure that they inform themselves to be able to get the best out of their money. Thank you so much, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for questions. Let me remind you that for questions online, you should use the raise hand option, and we will then call on you to make your intervention. Any questions? Do we have a written question option as well? Are persons also able to write in their questions? No questions for us at this time? So it seems we have been very clear in the communication this morning, and I think that definitely is the case. We have had 4 very good and detailed speakers who have provided a wealth of information, reminded of the various opportunities to get information. I think one question is coming to me. Michael Diamond is asking a question. Mr. Diamond, go ahead with your question, please. We have a question from Mr. Diamond. I think our technical team is trying to bring that forward. Mr. Diamond, go ahead, please. I think there's one other question. Could the ISO go ahead with their question, please, or comment?
Okay, I also wrote it in. You're hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go right ahead.
Okay. Because I'm trying to implement ISO in both entities, I need to know if there's a definite date for the merger of CAC and FTC. You have a date in mind that we can work with?
Sorry, thanks for the question. I think the answer is no at this point in time. However, as I indicated earlier, the work has started. The committee that will oversee that process is now at work. We are about, I believe, the first order of business for the committee is to appoint a merger manager that will manage the day-to-day collaboration, coordination, logistics, and execution around the various activities of that committee. I think we probably will be in a better position a month or 6 weeks from now to provide the ministry with direction in terms of where we think what we think the project plan will look like to complete that process. And then we'll be working to that project plan thereafter.
Which also includes the movement.
You mean the actual physical movement of the co-location?
Movement of both entities into one space.
Yeah, the co-location is already agreed, was already agreed even before this board was appointed.
Okay.
And so we are moving ahead with that because we believe the mere presence of having both teams in the same location facilitates the execution of the merger and make it, and that will also enable us to move a little faster as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that response, Mr. White, and there are no other questions at this time. So let me express my thanks and appreciation to our 4 speakers this morning, our Minister of State, the Honorable Norman Dunn, the Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Commission and the Fair Trading Commission as we move towards this merger, Mr. Donovan White, as well as the Executive Director for the Fair Trading Commission, Mr. David Miller, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Consumer Affairs Commission, Mrs. Dulcie Allen. Thanks to all of you for your time this morning. Thanks to the persons who will have joined us online. Special thanks to the media who would have joined us this morning. We hope to see some of the information shared this morning brought forward in the media so that our consumers can have this information to inform their decisions. And let me close by again reminding the consumers to keep the Consumer Affairs Commission busy. Contact them with your queries and your complaints, and visit their app and review the information that they provide on their website and in the media and on social media so that you can become very informed consumers. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning.